The story rotates around Vandiyadevan, an enchanting, daring and a splendid young fellow who embarks to the Chola land to convey a message to the ruler and the princess from the crown sovereign Aditya Karikalan. The story transports between Vandiyadevan's movements in Chola country and the youthful sovereign Arulmoji Vaman's movements in Sri Lanka. The story manages endeavors by his sister Kundavi to carry back Arulmoji Vaman to lay out political harmony in a land apparently getting stunned with distress and indications of nationwide conflict, plotted by vassals and negligible tribal leaders. Parantika Chola was prevailed by his second child Gandaraditya as the primary child Rajaditya had passed on in a fight. At the hour of Gandaraditya's demise, his child Madhurantaka was a 2-year-old kid and subsequently Gandaraditya's sibling Arinjaya climbed the privileged position. After Arinjaya's demise, his child Parantika II, Sundara Chola, was delegated. He had 2 children, Aditya Karikalan and little girl Kundavi, and the more youthful child Arulmoji Vaman, the later known Rajaraja. At the point when the story begins, the ruler Sundara Chola is sick and out of commission. Aditya Karikalan is the general of the Northern Order and resided in Kanchi, and Arulmoji Vaman, who might be renowned later as Raja Chola I, is in Sri Lanka in fight, and their sister Kundavi Piritti resided in Chola regal family at Pazayare. The story is gotten rolling, when gossip begins that there is a scheme against Sundara Chola and his children. One individual who gets a brief look at the Pandya schemers is a fighter the Vandiyathevan at the royal residence of his companion Kandhanmaran. It is through Vandiyachivan that we meet a large portion of the characters in the novel, like Arulmoji Vaman, the ruler whom every one individuals cherished, and Priyapazhavituraya, the chancellor who wedded Nandini, the principal plotter, when he was 60. During his childhood, Aditya Karikalan had experienced passionate feelings for Nandini. However, she turned wrathful after Aditya Karikalan killed Virapandiyang, who was most likely her darling. It was a disarray which spins in the story. A few says it was her dad, and promised to obliterate the Chola tradition. We likewise meet Kundavi Devi, who subsequent to hearing the insight about the connivance sends Vandiyadevan to Sri Lanka to give a message to Arulmoji Vaman to return right away. Other than these, there are different characters like Madhurantikar, the man whom the plotters need to crown Lord, the child of Gandaraditya and Anirudh Brahmaryar, Sundara Chola's state head, and the one who has eyes and ears all over. In any case, the most brilliant person in the book is Brahmaryar's covert operative Azakadian Nambi, who meanders around the nation trying for discusses. He gathers data for the state leader and is consistently around Vandiyadevan, safeguarding him during inconvenience. There are a few beautiful and delightful ladies as well, as Vanathi, Kodumbalur princess, the one who turns into Arulmoji's better half later, who is infatuated with Arulmoji, Punkuzali, the boat lady who pushes the future lord to Lanka, Mandakini, the challenged stepmother of the first Madhurantikar Chola and the auntie of Punjali. Generally significant among these is Nandini, whose magnificence is said to have the ability to impact any man. Manimangalai, the sister of Kandhanmaran, the Kadambur ruler, who helps Nandini with no information that she personally is the schemer, and furthermore he betrays Vandiyadevan, his closest companion. In the meantime, with Punjali's assistance, Vandiyadevan arrives at Sri Lanka, meets Arulmoji Vaman, and turns into his dear companion. In Lanka, Arulmoji Vaman understands that his dad had invested some energy in an island close to Lanka and had been with a young lady conceived not too sharp. He meets her and acknowledges from her drawing that she and his dad have had 2 youngsters. Who are those kids, and do they reserve the option to the lofty position? Later one day in Tirupurambiyam Timbaland, Vandiyadevan sees Nandini and the Pandya backstabbers put a little child on a high position and take a commitment before him. Who is this kid and what right does he have to the high position? While returning from Lanka, Arulmoji Vaman is trapped in a typhoon and disappears. Talk spreads that he is dead, however he gets by and stays at Chudamani Viharam, a Buddhist cloister inn. Then, at that point, gradually the scattered family begins gathering. The schemers in the meantime pick one day in which both the Lord and both of his children would be killed. Nandini meanwhile calls Aditya Karikalan to Kadambur royal residence to examine about the eventual fate of realm. However, Karikalan realizes that his life is in sheer peril. He goes to Kadambur castle. Notwithstanding cautioning from his granddad, Aditya Karikalan was then killed there. In the interim, Arulmoji Vaman recuperates and gets back to Tanjore, where he had to crown, and he acknowledges to at first get the crown. Afterward, he deceives everybody and crowns to his uncle Uthama Chola.